It was the morning after Thanksgiving. I was standing in my kitchen, still in pajamas, looking at a pie container with only one lonely slice left. The fridge was packed with leftovers, my sink was full, and honestly, I felt bloated, sluggish, and slightly irritated. Not because of the food, really, but because of how I'd let the season bulldoze my boundaries again. I'd skipped my morning workouts for 3 days straight, stayed up late wrapping things for guests, had one too many glasses of wine, and somehow ended up nibbling dessert for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I remember thinking, is this just how it goes now? Every holiday I lose control and play catch up for weeks. Now, maybe you've had that moment too. You're doing your best, running a business, caring for family, keeping your health on track. But when the holidays roll around, it all feels like it gets thrown out the window. Between travel, parties, sugar, alcohol, late nights, and all the emotional layers, family dynamics, financial pressure, just the sheer pace, this time of year can derail even the most intentional person. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could navigate the holidays with calm and confidence? What if, instead of waking up in January feeling heavy, stressed, and a little behind, you entered the new year feeling strong, energized, and actually proud of how you moved through it? That's what we're diving into today. Because while the holidays are a time of joy and connection, they also tend to become a health landmine for women, especially those balancing a business, a family, and a commitment to wellness. The average adult gains about 1 to 2 pounds over the holidays. That may not sound like much, but here's the key. Most of us never fully lose that weight. It accumulates quietly year after year, and emotional stress, that climbs too. One Harvard study found that 62% of people describe their stress as very, or somewhat, elevated during the holidays. And we're not just talking about a little extra to-do list tension. For many, the season activates emotional triggers: grief, family dynamics, overwhelm, and that emotional strain directly affects our habits, energy, and resilience. Let's talk about why this happens, because once we understand the pattern, we can shift it. The holiday season in the US stretches from late November through early January. It starts with Thanksgiving, rolls through December holidays, and often spills into New Year's parties. It's a 6-week stretch marked by celebration and disruption. Our schedules change. We travel more. We attend events that revolve around food and alcohol. Sleep is often reduced. Physical activity drops, and emotional eating ramps up. It's the perfect storm for feeling out of control in your body and in your mind. Now, here's where the numbers matter. A 2016 study in the New England Journal of Medicine tracked weight trends in people from the US, Germany, and Japan. Across the board, the average holiday gain was about 1.3 to 1.8 pounds, just enough to notice in how your jeans fit. Other studies confirm similar numbers, an average gain of roughly 1 to 2 pounds. And while some of us convince ourselves we've gained 5 or 10, the data says it's smaller, but sneakier. Because most people don't lose it in January, it becomes the starting point for next year's weight gain, and the year after that. It's like a slow drift that quietly changes your baseline. And if we look at the meals themselves, it makes sense. Thanksgiving dinner alone often tops 3,000 calories. Some people consume over 4,500 calories in that one day when you add in appetizers, drinks, dessert, and those just a bite, moments we don't count. For reference, most women's daily needs fall around 1,800 to 2,200 calories. So we're doubling our intake in one sitting, and often eating leftovers for days. But it's not just the food. Let's talk about emotional health. A recent survey found 89% of US adults report higher stress during the holidays. And here's why that matters. Elevated stress changes your brain chemistry. It raises cortisol, which increases cravings, disrupts sleep, and impairs decision-making. You're more likely to skip your workout, more likely to overeat, more likely to feel shame or fatigue, and less likely to bounce back. When your executive functioning takes a hit, your willpower drops, and suddenly the season feels like it's happening to you rather than through you. Now here's the part I want you to hear clearly. Even people who are trying to lose weight, people tracking food, exercising regularly, still tend to gain weight during the holidays. It's not about willpower. It's about awareness, intention, and systems. Because the environment changes, the cues change, the food, the social pressure, the emotional triggers, all of that impacts what you do and how you feel. And unless you have a clear strategy, it's incredibly easy to fall into reactive mode. So how do we shift it? That's where we're heading next. I'm going to share real-world tools, personal stories, and a few key strategies I use with my clients, women who are navigating the same pressures you are. The goal isn't perfection, it's resilience. It's designing a holiday season that supports your well-being instead of hijacking it. Let's get into the part that changes everything. What to do now? Let's take this from theory into the real world. I want to tell you about one of my clients. Let's call her Marisa. She's a 42-year-old small business owner, a mom of two, and she's been on a steady journey to reclaim her energy and health, and after a difficult few years. Every holiday season, the same pattern would show up. She'd gain 3 to 4 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's, drop her morning movement routine, and feel emotionally wiped out by the time January rolled around. She wasn't overeating wildly. She wasn't doing everything wrong. But she told me she felt like she lost control every single December. This year, we did something different. We created a holiday health blueprint. 3 simple shifts. Number 1, she set an intention. Not a weight goal, but a vitality goal. Her phrase was, I want to feel light, clear, and present through the holidays. Number 2, she chose 3 non-negotiables. A daily morning walk before any screen time, protein at every meal, and 1 hour of alone time each weekend to regroup. Number 3, she had a plan for holiday meals. What she would enjoy, how she would portion, and how to navigate the family pressure to eat just a little more. The result? She gained less than a pound, kept her energy high, and said she felt like the most centered version of herself heading into the new year. That's the power of intentional design, and you can do the same. Here's how you start. First, set your holiday intention. Before the food, before the travel, before the invites start stacking up, ask yourself, what do I want my body and mind to feel like on January 2nd? Write it down, not just don't gain weight, but something richer. I want to feel rested, nourished, and clear-headed, or I want to move through this season without anxiety around food. Next, create a mindful meal strategy. Let's talk about the plate itself. On big eating days, start your meal with a glass of water. Then build your plate in layers. Half vegetables or salad, a palm-sized portion of protein, and then the indulgence you love most. Don't skip it. Enjoy it, but choose it consciously. Eat slowly, pause halfway through, and listen to your body. Remember, your stomach doesn't have a calendar. It doesn't care that it's a holiday. It still has to process all that food. Give it a chance to do that without overloading it. And here's a secret that works especially well for women in leadership roles. Maintain your movement anchor. It doesn't have to be a full workout, but 10 to 20 minutes of movement, especially in the morning, can reset your cortisol, stabilize your appetite, and reinforce your identity as someone who cares for their body even when life is full. A brisk walk, a yoga flow, a short strength circuit at home. The point isn't performance, it's continuity. Now let's talk about one of the sneakiest ways we add weight and feel drained, leftovers. The average American consumes over 2,200 calories just in Thanksgiving leftovers alone across the next 2 days. It's not the holiday meal, it's the repetition of indulgent eating without boundaries. So before the holiday even hits, decide how many days you'll keep leftovers. 2? Great. Freeze some, give some away, and return to your normal meal rhythm by day 3. Your body will thank you. Now, all of that is what we can do. But I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the things we often believe that actually sabotage our progress. Because a lot of our struggles during this season aren't just about habits. They're about hidden assumptions. Let's unpack them. One of the most common myths I hear this time of year is, I'll probably gain 10 pounds, but I'll just lose it in January. That belief isn't just inaccurate, it's dangerous. The data shows the average holiday weight gain is about 1 to 2 pounds, not 10. But here's the critical part, that weight tends to stick. In fact, a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that most people don't shed the holiday pounds in the following months, they carry them forward, year after year. So it's not the 10 pounds you fear, it's the 1 or 2 pounds you keep without realizing it. It's the slow, silent drift that impacts your long-term health, hormones, and energy. Another big myth is, I'll just detox or reset in January. This one is a trap, because when we go into the holidays with an all-or-nothing mindset, we often throw all structure out the window. We eat mindlessly, move less, say yes to everything, and tell ourselves we'll fix it later. But health doesn't work like that. The body doesn't respond well to extremes. Extreme indulgence followed by extreme restriction leads to stress, metabolic confusion, and emotional fatigue. The goal isn't to cleanse later, it's to support now. It's to have enough structure during the season so that you don't have to recover from it. Then there's this classic, I work out hard so I can eat what I want. I get it. Movement is powerful, but it's not a get out of jail free card. The truth is, studies show that even those who maintain regular exercise routines during the holidays are still vulnerable to weight gain. Why? Because exercise doesn't automatically cancel out excess calories, poor sleep, or emotional eating. It helps, but it's not enough on its own. And when we rely on it to offset overeating, we miss the deeper work of mindful nourishment and stress regulation. And finally, the myth that stress is just part of the season. It's not just a side effect, it's a real, measurable health disruptor. When your stress levels rise, your cortisol levels rise. Cortisol affects your sleep, your cravings, your mood, and even how your body stores fat. And the holidays are full of stress triggers. Family expectations, financial strain, packed schedules, grief, or loss that feels heavier this time of year. But that doesn't mean we surrender to it. You don't have to accept chaos as a holiday norm. You can build in micro practices, quiet walks, journaling, saying no, breath work that buffer your system from overload. So let's be clear. The holidays aren't just a test of willpower. They're a test of clarity, of priorities, of how willing you are to honor what matters most, your health, your peace, your boundaries, in a season that pulls you in every direction. And now that we've looked at both the what and the why, and we've cleared out some of the most damaging myths, I want to bring it all together in a way that supports you right now. Let's get into the core takeaways and the 5 clear actions you can take today to move through this season with intention, grace, and strength. Let's take a moment to weave it all together. You now know the holidays bring both opportunity and challenge. You've seen that the average weight gain isn't massive, about 1 to 2 pounds, but that it's meaningful because most people don't lose it. It's cumulative. You've seen that holiday meals, especially Thanksgiving, can easily top 3,000 or even 4,500 calories. And you've learned that stress isn't just a mental or emotional experience, it's physiological. It alters your appetite, your sleep, your energy, and your decisions. But you've also seen that small intentional actions can make a huge difference. Setting a personal goal for the season, mindful eating strategies that protect your digestion and your peace, movement as a stabilizer, boundaries around leftovers, and making space for emotional self-care, not as a luxury, but as a foundation. The truth is, your body and mind don't operate on a holiday calendar. They respond to what you do each day. And while you may not be able to control every invitation, every dish, every conversation around the table, you can control your response. You can design the experience you want to have. So I want to give you 5 actionable steps you can take right now. These are not dramatic overhauls or rigid rules. They are small, smart shifts that create momentum. They help you stay connected to your values while still enjoying the season. If you do even one of them, you're already ahead of the curve. Ready? Let's walk through them. Step 1, set your holiday intention. This is the anchor. Before the calendar fills up, before the food starts flowing, before the stress builds, take 10 minutes to ask yourself, what do I want to feel like come January 2nd? Not what the scale says, what your body feels like, what your mind feels like, your energy, your clarity. Maybe you write down, I want to feel grounded and well-rested, or I want to feel proud of how I cared for myself. That's your North Star. Tape it to your fridge. Write it in your planner. Let it guide your yeses and your nos. Step 2, use the plate strategy for big meals. Here's how it works. Before the holiday meal, drink a full glass of water. If possible, have a little protein snack, something like a boiled egg or a small piece of chicken, 30 minutes before you sit down. That simple act lowers the intensity of hunger and stabilizes your blood sugar. When you build your plate, go for balance. Half vegetables or salad, a palm-sized portion of protein, then your favorite indulgent side or dessert. Eat slowly, savor it. Put your fork down between bites. If you pause halfway through and check in, you'll notice that your body gets full faster than your brain thinks it will. Step 3, move your body daily, even just 10 minutes. This isn't about burning calories, it's about preserving identity and momentum. When you move, even if it's a 10-minute walk around the block, you're sending a signal to yourself. I take care of me. It reduces cortisol, improves digestion, and supports emotional regulation. Bonus if you can do it outside or in the morning. That early movement sets your rhythm for the day, especially when schedules are chaotic. Step 4, have a leftover plan. This is one of the most overlooked strategies. The day after a big meal is where a lot of the damage happens, not in the celebration itself. Decide before the meal, how many days will I keep leftovers? 2 is plenty. After that, freeze them, gift them, compost them. Just don't let them become a 6-day spiral of overeating. And when you do enjoy them, use a smaller plate. That simple swap can reduce portions by up to 20% without changing how satisfied you feel. Step 5, build in emotional check-ins. At least twice during the holiday stretch, I want you to pause, just 5 minutes, and ask, how am I doing right now, physically and emotionally? Then follow it with, what's one small thing I can do to support myself in the next 24 hours? It could be a walk, a phone call with someone safe, saying no to something that feels draining, or writing down 3 things you're grateful for. These micro adjustments are what keep you connected to yourself, and they're what create that feeling of calm power that so many women lose during the holidays. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay in the game with intention. Choose one of these steps today. Just one. Set your intention. Take a walk. Drink water before your next meal. That's the first ripple. And from there, everything shifts. This season doesn't have to be something you recover from. It can be a chapter you look back on and say, that's when I chose to do it differently. That's when I chose to stay well. And that's what I want to leave you with today. The holidays are not something to survive. They are something to shape. You get to decide how you move through this season. Not perfectly, not rigidly, but powerfully. You get to decide how your body feels, how your mind shows up, and how much energy you carry into the new year. So take one of the 5 steps we covered and put it into action today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's writing down your intention. Maybe it's planning your meals for the next few days. Maybe it's lacing up your shoes and getting outside for that 10-minute walk. Start where you are. And remember this, small choices compound. It's not about one big decision. It's about 100 little ones that honor who you want to be, even in the midst of celebration and chaos. You have the tools. You have the awareness. Now you have the map. Here's to moving through this season with strength, softness, and simplicity. You've got this. I'll see you in the next episode.